Alrighty, welcome back. So, the next step, so we've installed the Moonlight maps, we've created a game world, I've shown you a brief overview of how to install mods. The other mod I will always recommend is Plutonium. This is actually how I found out about Foundry. I use a site called 5e.tools, and they had a script for Roll20 that allowed you to quickly import creature tokens and a few other things, and it was super awesome. And one day I saw this lovely message that was like, use Foundry. Well, you should, because it's way better than Roll20. And then following the link there, it'll get you to where you need to go. It's as easy as, I think, hitting install and then copying or pasting a manifest URL, but I'll include a link to the site's just called 5e.tools, so it's pretty easy to do. Alright, so we have our things installed for now. Go to the old game worlds, go to the launch world, and you can have, as far as I know, I have like 9 and there haven't been any issues. So then this is your login screen. This is what your players are going to see the next time, while this is running. So you want to log in as the game master. By default, there is no access key or password, so you can set those up here in a little bit. I'll show you how. So, now we're in. So now we got a lovely gray texture, what looks like an MMO hotbar, a game paused, a chat dialog box, there's some stuff in the corner, a lot to talk about. So I'll try to break this out into like 5-minute chunks just to make this stuff easily digestible. So I'm just going to start this off by talking about all the different regular settings you have over here. So by default, you have your regular configure settings. About your permissions. If you want to use audio video within Foundry, I will always recommend using Discord or another service, just because it's a lot of network resources. You can mess with the frame rate if people are having some framing issues. Token drag vision, all of these are very very self-explanatory. System settings, diagonal movement rule is pretty fun, because you can change it to the PHB, which is just 5 feet every diagonal, or the DMG, which is 5 feet for the first diagonal, or 10 feet, and then 10 feet for the second diagonal. So that's if you really want to get those like tactical moments just right. And then the rest variant, you typically want to just keep it the same for there, and then it has like specific to your game system settings there. And your module settings, if you have modules that have like increased settings, then you'll be able to mess around with all of them there. But next up we have manage modules. You can check which are active. By default, it doesn't give you anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to enable Moonlight maps and Plutonium. So save module settings, and these usually will cause the server to reboot and relog in if it can. So sometimes if you're doing this mid-session, it can get a little messy getting everyone back in and making sure everything's there. So now they're enabled, so excellent. We have configure players. So this is user management, so you can create an additional user, be like player Bob, and you can set them up a password, and then you can check their user role. So player, trusted assistant game master. So all of these, you're able to set up different permissions on like who can edit maps and who can like add items and edit certain things. I've only really messed with the game master and player roles though. I don't really see a reason to include any of the other ones because I'm not hosting giant things. So save and return. It'll pop you back out to here. So go back into the game master. Continue talking about these settings. Update software. Usually you can do this on the screen before when you're fully logged out of the Foundry program. Return to setup will take you to that first screen. It'll boot you back to this, and so go back over here, relaunch, and then help and documentation. You have some control references if you want to scour through those. There's actual documentation if you want to read a whole lot further, but that's pretty much it, really. Then there's open main menu, which is also accessible by the escape button. You can reload application, log out, configure players, and return to setup. But that's all for this one. I'll send the next video out soon. We will talk more about the chat and built-in rolling functions.